Hey YouTube guitar friends, this video is about a Plek job that I had performed on this guitar. It is more just documenting the process, so if you want to skip through and just see the different process that a guitar goes through when it gets plecked, feel free to do that. Eventually, I also want to do a video on making this body, so keep an eye out in the next few weeks for a video on how I made this body and the different companies that I used to purchase the materials. So back to the neck. When I bolted this neck to this body, it actually played very well, so I could have just played it as it was. But I knew I wanted to keep this, and after playing a long time, you start to learn your preferences. And one of the things that I didn't like about it was almost like having jumbo frets. I had ordered narrow, tall frets, and your fingers never touch the fretboard when the frets are that tall. So my initial thought was to have it plecked and just have a little bit removed from all of the frets, and then just make sure that everything is good as it could possibly be. The second thing I wanted to do was introduce some fall away from the 12th fret to the last fret. This would allow it to have the lowest action possible without any fret buzz. And so after having the Plek done, I really feel like I accomplished both things. I can feel the fretboard just a little, and the action is a little lower than it was previously. It's hard to see in the video, but this thing has super low action and there's no fret buzz going on with it. So hats off to Matt over at Corzic Music in Longwood, Florida, and hats off to Warmoth for making such a great neck. So here's the video. I'll start off just sharing more details about the neck itself, and then we'll go into the Plek job. Thank you, hope you enjoy it. I decided to order a Warmoth neck for this guitar build. I wanted the option of a Telecaster style neck. This was set up with a Telecaster neck pocket, and they offered a scale conversion. So this is actually a conversion neck with 3x3 headstock. The fretboard is Indian rosewood. It's a 10 to 16 compound radius. It has mother of pearl dots. It's roasted maple. It's their standard thin neck. It has mother of pearl side dots. 22 frets, 6105 narrow, tall frets that are nickel, and a 42 millimeter nut. The headstock I did a little bit of customization to with a maple laminate. Warmoth did a great job building this neck. Great day. I'm heading to Corzic Music, and they're gonna do a Plek job on the guitar I built. I like that. One more double check.
Good. So what are we gonna name this?
RBT wannabe?
RBT wannabe?
At this point, you're setting up the...
I'm setting the nut because it's gonna measure the nut.
Okay.
And just in case we do any kind of cutting, I want to know exactly what it is.
Before and after?
Yep.
So it will pretty much tell you the radius and everything once it's done.
Oh yeah, it's gonna tell me everything that I need to know about it. Let's see.
So we're about to do the scan.
Yep. And whenever we do a new guitar, I always am ready to hit the emergency stop. I always watch it for the first pass when it's going down the fretboard all the way down to the frets. or the saddle. Great. Yeah, it's gonna clear those. Cool. Awesome.
How long does a scan usually take?
The scan usually takes about maybe 4 minutes. It always gets the saddle heights first, the string. Morning, Matthew. And then what's going to do is going to come up and measure the string height at the nut. Then it's going to fall off at the 1st fret, fall off at the 10th fret, and then it's going to measure your strings.
And that's precise. It gets right on top of that string.
Yes, it does. So once it hits it, it falls off to the right, and then it hits it again and falls off to the left. And with the programs, the software they use, they're able to know the exact width of that string and confirm it.
The last one I did, I felt like I noticed some chatter marks or something, or like maybe the bit wasn't super sharp.
So there is, we run all of ours on, what was it, stainless steel. So the RPM is better to reduce the effects of possible chatter marks.
Okay.
And it also has to deal with the polishing that you can do on it to remove chatter marks as well.
Okay. And for those skeptics who say a person could do better than the scanner?
I would like to somebody do a fret dress and then have it measured. Because if we're dealing with 1/1000th of a millimeter, I just, you know, I don't want to say that people that have had years of experience can't do an amazing job by hand.
Right.
But from everything that I have understanding of, people who have that kind of technical training, takes years of experience to get it, and then you don't have many years to utilize that experience before it takes the wear and tear on your hands, because it's a pretty labor-intensive job.
For sure.
It just is.
So now it's measuring.
Mm-hmm. I still like watching the videos of guys doing refrets by hand and doing, they have the, I mean, because they just have the right tools. They have the large files that are radius, and they radius the whole fretboard the same.
Yeah.
Like I saw somebody do a maple neck, you know, for a Fender, and it was just amazing they take that 7 7/4 file, and it's just basically sandpaper. That's and on a tool that's been milled and shaped to that same radius. No, people who doing refret is what they do like all the time. They get all the right tools.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, these two, the measurements are right on according to the nut height and the saddle height, because that's where you get these two actions right here. That one is definitely low. Your G is a little low, and your E, because I have something shimmed up underneath. Other than that, your action just needs to come up a little higher on the E according to the saddle. Here, measured is 4, 8, and 4. And that's probably a little bit higher than it should be because of what I have, my advanced technology, so I can get the reading.
Let's see the
fretboard.
Yes.
Well, well, well. Warmoth does not disappoint.
Wow.
Yeah, that is wow.
Tight.
That is pretty tight.
So my concern of the second fret or the second to last fret being a little high, is that a thing?
Second to last fret being a little high?
Or the second fret.
On which note are you noticing it? Are you noticing
the G string, the third string?
Like right around here? So this is going to be the best way. The only buzz value that I get are these first, this row
Because
on your second fret.
Low?
I don't know if it's because of that. That's actually just high. So
I was right, the second fret's high.
Yes, it is. Yes, yes. I thought you were saying second to last fret, so I'm like looking over here.
I thought this one or the second to last.
No,
was high.
the second fret on your D, your G, your B, and your E are a little high. That can be fixed with the Plek machine, but other than that, this is a great neck you got on this guitar.
Thank you.
For sure. So what's going to do right now is I'm going to go to processing, and I'm going to just do fret cutting, and I'm going to hit go.
Well, hold on. We did talk about taking a little off of all of them just to get it done.
So what it's going to do is going to do another measurement all over again.
Yes.
Right? And so it's basically going to do the same thing we just watched it do. And then the next window that's going to come up is where I'm actually going to set the cutting values.
Okay, cool.
Okay? So I think, so you're right now, you're at 1.18. So if you wanted to bring it down more, I would probably maybe bring it down to 1.02.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go with your recommendation. And the question I had was the radius shows on there compound 10 to 16.
Yep. So that's your radius at your first fret. This is the radius at your 12th fret, and this is your radius at your 22nd fret right there.
So it's showing it in metric?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So and the thing is like when we bring it down, you see how the orange is showing it what it is right now?
Yeah.
And the green is showing, the machine is saying this is what we would like it to be.
Okay.
So when I bring all these values down, you see that's the little guy that's showing it, making it this 416, and this little guy and that little guy. It just it's doing what we like to call the fall away. So normally on especially acoustic guitars, what you want to have after the 12th fret, you want to have this natural little fall away.
And we want to do that here, right?
Yeah, well, it doesn't have to happen. What you don't want is what I've had a lot of guitars do is after the 12th fret, you have this kick up.
Yeah, a lot of Fenders do that.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then we get into a problem area where to get it to the fret to the right height, the problem that we have is that there's not enough material that I can bring down before the cutter would make contact with the fretboard. And there it is.
So we're going to shave them all a little, put just a tad bit of fall away.
Yep.
And it might correct. The nut was too low, but with this, it might set it right where it needs to be.
I think it's going to set it right where it needs to be.
And the truss rod was good where it was.
Oh, the truss rod was perfect. Yeah, Warmoth is impressive. So now we're going to continue the process. Now I get to open this thing up and prep it up.
So here we have a couple braces on it. The strings are out of the way. We're about to do the cutting. And it cuts, crowns, and does everything at once.
Radiuses it all, so it cuts it, levels it, and crowns it all at the same time. This cutting wheel has 3 different shapes on it, 2 separate depths. So the one depth is going to be for the width of this fret right here, and these 2 other depths and shapes are for jumbo frets. So it's going to measure the fretboard because now it has no string tension. It's going to calculate exactly its cutting path. Fall off. You replace a cutter about every 400 guitars, 400 to 500. That's the last pass. What we're trying to do is trying to make this kind of service commonplace. Yeah. It should be the standard that when you spend over $1,000 on an instrument, it should be absolutely playable.
So they say it all comes down to the technician running the machine.
That's what they say. That's what they say. I'm gonna see if we get it.
So we're doing one more measurement with string tension.
Without my fancy device.
Last final measurement after the Plek.
This is gonna be the one. See if I can do it. Stay in the pocket. Yes! Did it.
Nice. This is after the Plek.
There we go.
See a lot of green.
That's a whole lot of green.
Nice. When you move that, there's different angles?
It's different strings.
Okay.
Yep. These are all your strings right here.
Very good.
Yep, came out great.
So
you're right where you want to be.
What are we looking at? The nut?
So you're looking at the nut right there.
Okay.
If I wanted to, could bring the E down just a little bit, but I honestly, yeah, I wouldn't do that. Yeah, exactly.
Here it is after the Plek. And now it's going to go to
polish.
Hand polishing.
Yep. That's why I did the filing first, because now I can polish it all.
So you do it all by hand, or do you use any tools?
Nope, no tools. So the first step is 800. The next step is 1500 sandpaper, Then I have to use a steel wool to polish the frets and then scrub the fretboard to give it a good finish too. And then the last step is going to be rubbing compound, and then I clean it with alcohol and I condition the fretboard with Murphy with this stuff.
Nice. Tell me about this student program you have.
So we're connected to a program that provides instruments for students through the state of Florida. And any instrument that they get from us is going to be run through our Plek machine and have a professional setup. Nice. And the idea is that we want to remove any obstacle that the instrument could pose to being a discouraging factor in the student's journey to playing and enjoying music. It helps it stay clean.
Yeah, and it helps put pressure on the fret and not
the fretboard. Exactly. Kind of just have the belief that, you know, you have something substantial like a Plek fret dress, the frets should look substantial after it. Yep, gonna clean up with the alcohol. It's also going to give us a perspective of what the fretboard's going to look like when it's conditioned. Oh, it's going to be rich. That's rosewood, man.
Yeah, it is. It does have a hint of rose.
Mm-hmm. That's nice.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. Hope you learned a little about getting a guitar Plek'd. I will say we were there for over 3.5 hours. To me, it's definitely worth the money. It's actually the second guitar I've had Plek'd. This is the first guitar I had Plek'd. It's a 72 Telecaster Custom. I had the frets replaced, and when I got it back, it really didn't play that great. It rattled everywhere. So this was probably 4 or 5 years ago, before Corzic had their Plek machine, and I took it to Wolf Guitars in South Florida. They actually performed the Plek job, and this thing plays 100% better than it did before I had it Plek'd. This is a 7 1/4 radius neck on an old 70s Telecaster, and what they were able to do was do a compound Plek job. So instead of a compound radius on the fretboard, the frets are actually compound radius from 7 1/4 down to say 8.5 or 9. So it actually allows you to bend notes higher than you normally would on some of these old guitars. So if you're on the fence about having a guitar Plek'd, I would say go for it. It's definitely worth the money. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next video.